Oh, well, hello there, you beautiful human, and welcome to your yoga practice. I am Andrea Dawn, and today we are going to do a full body vinyasa flow. So no props are really needed unless you'd like to have a block handy. Just need your mat or open space for you to practice. We're going to start today in a comfortable seat with Kali Mudra. So Kali is the fierce goddess of destruction. She is helpful in removing anything in our lives that is standing in the way of us receiving all of the love and the joy and the wisdom that is here for us. So what we'll do is interlace the fingers, steeple the forefingers, cross the left thumb over the right. You can bring that to heart center. And then align your ears over your shoulders, over your hips. Take a soft downward gaze, or maybe close the eyes. Inhale, open the mouth, sigh it out, exhale. We'll take these next few moments to really arrive in our bodies, in our breath, in our intentions. And I'm going to offer an Om that you are welcome to join in or simply receive, but you might take this time to set an intention. This is like your magnet for when your mind wanders. You have this thing to come back to that you're choosing to make important, that you're choosing to grow and flourish and nourish. If you're choosing to Om with me, inhale. Flutter the eyes open. Release the mudra. Circle out your wrists. And then let's open up the legs to a Janu Shirsasana. So you'll keep the sole of the left foot tucked to the right inner thigh and extend the right leg, flex the foot. And we'll just start with some side bending. So side bend over to the right, reach the left arm overhead, and then side bend over to the left. And as you do that, you might press down through the left hand, lift up onto the left knee into a gate pose. And then from side to side, linking the breath with the movement. Breath initiates movement. You might even start to add, when the arm comes overhead, bending the elbow, placing the hand behind the back, then reaching the arm back overhead. And you can do that on both sides. You might bring in your Ujjayi breath, your audible breath where you're dragging the breath along the back of the throat. This breath helps the practice be in the forefront so that you can be completely present in your practice. And then the next time that you're turning towards the right leg, let's fold forward over the right leg. Keep the foot flexed. Reach the heart and chest forward, but draw the shoulder blades back. So remember, we're tuning into sensation without having to judge that sensation, without having to like or dislike it, but noticing subtleties like whether it's uncomfortable or if there's some kind of sharp sensation or a sensation of pain where we want to back out a little bit. Amazing. Bring yourself back up from that. Then bend the right knee. Sole of left foot will still be to right inner thigh, but this right leg is now behind you, and we're going to add a twist. Stay upright in your twist so you can tent the fingers as you bring the hands down. And then we'll twist towards the left. And as you do that, let's do that really mindfully. So moving from our navel, like the navel is the driver, then the ribs move, then the chest moves, then the collarbone moves. And then finally the gaze can shift over the left shoulder. I also like to tune into my front hip, my hip flexors here. So maybe you press the hips a little bit more forward. Come back through center, give yourself a little counter twist. And then we'll repeat that same sequence on the other side. So you'll extend the left leg this time, sole of right foot will come to left inner thigh. And we're gonna do that side to side bend flow, where you lean towards your left, side bend, lean towards your right, press up onto the right knee, reach the left arm overhead. The quality of your practice is the amount of attention that you pay to it, not necessarily this hierarchy of poses or what we may have deemed as a more impressive pose. And then you might start to add that where you're bending the arm that's reaching overhead, placing it behind the back. And as always, making it your own. So taking these kind of guidelines as just a general format for you to explore and play within. My definition of yoga is yearning to operate and grow in authenticity, awareness, and agency. And so part of the practice is making sure that we're in that authenticity and agency, where you might be taking the liberty to change some things. And the next time we're moving towards the left, we're going to fold over the left leg, flex the left foot, draw the toes back towards your face. Think of reaching up and over the leg with your heart and chest and then drawing the shoulders back. So it's like you could draw a nice long line from the crown of your head down to your tail, and that would keep more of a neutral spine instead of rounding forward. Good, and then we'll come on up from that. Bend the left knee, so we're in deer pose with our legs and adding a spinal twist where we stay upright, drive from the navel, ribs, chest, collarbone, gaze follows. Long, deep, even breaths. And then a little counter twist to the other side. Great, then we'll meet on all fours, even tabletop position. When you get to your even tabletop position, we're gonna simply do 2 rounds of cat-cow very mindfully. So the hands are underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide. Knees underneath the hips, and then we're gonna move the energy from the tail. So starting at the tail, start to tilt the tail up. Follow your energy, low back, middle back, upper back, reach through the heart and chest, look up, then bring your lower jaw over your upper jaw, and then we'll go back the same way that we came. So the low back is gonna move first, point the tail down, then low back, middle back, upper back, head falls. One more round just like that. Into your cow, reach the lower jaw over the upper jaw, and then into your cat. Back to neutral spine. Extend the left leg back behind you and the right arm out in front of you. Create opposition by reaching the fingers forward but drawing the armpit back. Reaching the left heel back but drawing the left hip up in towards the midline. Good, now turn the right palm face down, flex at the wrists, and it's like you're pressing the hand away from you, spread the fingers wide. Now we're gonna squeeze the hand into a fist and turn the fist down as you point the toe behind you. So we're flexing, opening, and then pointing and reaching down. And then seeing if you can link those movements up simultaneously with your breath. One more. Amazing. Bring this right hand down, cross the left leg over towards the right, press back and down through the heel. Now keep the legs crossed, spread the feet wide, send the hips back into a variation of child's pose where our legs are crossed. Come on back forward, unravel the legs, and we'll repeat that on the other side. So this time you'll extend the right leg back behind you, left arm forward. Find that opposition. Then turn the left palm face down. Flex at the wrists, so you're pushing the hand away from you. Right foot is flexed. Now we'll squeeze the hand into a fist and turn that fist down as you point the toe. Flex the foot, open the hand, reach the fingers. Close the fist, reach it down, point the toe. Couple more like that. One more. Bring the left hand down, cross the right leg all the way over, press the heel back. Then bring the right knee down, feet stay wide, keep the legs crossed as you sink the hips back. All right, back forward. And then we're going to just swivel the hips out a little bit. So maybe even thinking like creating a figure 8 with your hips. So I talk about this a lot, but in our warm-ups, before we start our flows, or vinyasa flows, we want to make sure that we move the spine in all planes. So we want to make sure that we twist and we side bend, and that we have flexion and extension, and that we have circumduction. And if you don't have much time in your day, just doing those few things will be really helpful in keeping your body balanced and healthy. All right, now we're going to walk the hands back, sit back onto the heels. This might be plenty and you might feel a big stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can walk the hands back and maybe lift the knees. If that feels okay, you can also see about finding balance here and bringing the hands to prayer. Set the knees down, bring the hands forward, tuck the toes under, walk the hands back. This might be plenty. You might feel it in your toes a lot, and that's enough. So this is always a practice about gauging how much is enough. If not, you can lift the hands and sit back onto the heels. Once again, bringing the hands through prayer. Amazing. Release that, pedal out the feet, or pitter-patter out the feet. Tuck your toes, pike your hips up, and we're going to walk ourselves up to the top of the mat to start our flow. Once you walk yourself up, heel toe your feet wide so that your toes are off the mat, angled out. My heels are still on the mat, my toes are angled out and off of the mat. Slight bend in the knees, roll yourself all the way up to stand. Reach your arms up high. You could find high prayer, or maybe that Kali Mudra that we started class with, where the fingers are steepled and the left thumb is over the right. And then we're going to sink this down into our low yogic squat. So start to bend the knees, sink down, keep the body upright into our Malasana low yogic squat. Eventually the hands can come down through prayer. Use the elbows to aid. Press down through the feet and turn them out like dials, putting a little bit more weight into the outer blade edges of the feet. Sink the tail down, lift through the heart and chest. Now we're going to take this into lizard pose. So lift the hips, place the hands down, step the left foot back. So the right foot should be in a pretty decent spot for the lizard pose. The right knee is outside of the right hip. My toes are still facing out. You can drop the knee if you want this a little bit more relaxed, or keep the leg lifted if you want a little bit more strength. You're welcome to stay right here. You can do things like twisting, reaching behind you, adding a quad stretch, coming down onto the forearms. So these are all just suggestions. Things, again, when you work through your practice, it can be helpful to put on that explorer cap. So it's always that beginner's mindset where we don't think that we know. When we get into that thinking that we know, that's when we're not actually being in the present moment. We get to take that off of the mat and use that throughout our interactions in the day. Oh, I'm in a conversation and I'm not actually listening to them. I'm just talking in my mind about what I want to say back to them. And we can come back to our yoga practice of, oh, breathe, listen, hear. I don't have to know what I'm going to say next because I'm not finished listening and doing the activity of hearing what my friend or colleague or associate or family member is actually saying. All right, we're gonna come out of our lizard and turn this into a side angle pose. So if the back knee is down, you'll lift that first. Then heel toe this right foot in closer towards the midline. Anchor the back foot down. Use the core body to lift and bring the right elbow to the right quad. Sweep the left arm overhead. Notice if you're breaking in the wrist or the elbow. See if you can create a long line from left fingertips to outer blade edge of left foot. You can do things like add support by bending the top arm, placing the hand behind the head, and then pressing the head back into the hand. Or using this left hand to draw the right ribs a little bit more forward. Good, now we're gonna bring the left hand down to the inside of the right foot, pivot on the ball mound of the left foot, drop the left knee. Rotate to the right. So we're in a lunge twist. Notice this top arm. Oftentimes we tend to exaggerate our twists by overextending in the shoulder. So the arm goes way back. So I'm not actually twisting in my spine. I'm just overstretching my shoulder and my chest. So make sure that you're lining the right hand up with the collarbone. Good, now we'll kickstand the left foot, windmill the arms up in a modified warrior two, where my left knee is down, my right knee is bent, the ankle's underneath the knee, arms are to a T. Relaxed integrity in the arms, right? So I'm doing that by using my lats to slightly draw down, slightly back, and then keep reaching my fingers. So my shoulders aren't up here. Good, now we're gonna reverse this. So extend the right leg out long, flip the right palm to the sky, reverse. You'll do that by tenting the left fingers and bringing them down, then turning towards the back of your mat as you pivot on the ball mound of your right foot. Sweep the left foot back. This left leg now is gonna go back and up to three-leg dog. And then from here, we'll step the left foot in between the palms. So you'll come forward, push the floor away, reach the knee up towards the chest, step the foot in between the palms. Walk the hands out in front of you, keep the fingers tented, lift the right leg standing split. For this first round, we'll just keep the hips level, let the upper body relax. Spiral your inner thigh up, use the hamstring to lift. Keep the foot flexed, toes turned down. If they're turned out, I know that my hips are probably turning, right? And they're on an angle. It's not a big deal. It's just so that we know where our body is in space and we're developing that body awareness. Now we're going to come up to stand. You can do that by setting the right foot down first, or it can be more like a pendulum where you're working on balance, coming up, sweeping the right leg through, extending the right leg out in front, hands through prayer. Stand up nice and tall. Reach the arms up in breath, out breath to rotate to the right. So at any time, this foot can come down, right? If this balance feels like too much, just kickstand this foot. Or have the knee bent. We're gonna step back warrior two, right? So it might be one step, a couple steps. It might be that you're taking a big, long reach with the right leg and stepping back and landing. That might be just what you're visualizing of one day, right? But today I'm getting there by many steps. Hips are level. If I had headlights on my hip points, they'd be facing forward. Shoulders over my hip points. That relaxed integrity in the arms. And now straighten the left leg, turn the left foot in, hands to high prayer in breath, out breath to fold forward, wide leg forward fold. See if you can press down evenly through big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound, heel. Then maybe you put a little bit more weight on the big toe ball mound and pinky toe ball mound as you draw inward, like you're trying to suction your mat in and then let the upper body relax. Find a halfway lift, walk yourself forward, frame out your front foot, and here we'll take our flow. So for some of us, this is known as a vinyasa. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can just follow me by stepping the right foot back to meet the left in a high plank, then dropping the knees. Keep the core body engaged as you lower down, elbows move straight back behind you. Find a lift in a baby cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, open the heart and chest, press the tops of the feet down. Back to all fours, tuck the toes, pike the hips, downward facing dog. We're gonna repeat that on the other side. So for me, I'm gonna switch the front of my mat so I'm still facing the camera. If you're working on a side plane like I am, you might do the same. From the downward facing dog, we'll just walk our feet in and then step them wide. So heels are on the mat, toes are off the mat. Roll yourself all the way up to stand. Find Kali Mudra or prayed hands. Take a moment to tune back into your intention of the practice and your breath and your smile. And then let's lower down, low yogic squat. Lift the hips, plant the hands, step the right foot back, lizard pose. Okay, into side angle. So if that back leg is down like mine is, tuck the toes, lift the leg. Heel toe the left foot in towards the midline, then anchor the right foot. Now I'm going to use the core body to lift, bring my left elbow to my left quad and circle the right arm overhead. Again, you can use this top arm for all kinds of helpful adjustments. We're going to do this same flow one more round, so I'll offer some more variations on the second round if you'd like to go deeper. Now, start to pivot on the ball mound of the right foot. Drop the right hand to the inside of the left foot. Drop the right knee. Rotate to the left. Stack the hand over the collarbone. Intentional twist. Kickstand the right foot, windmill the arms up, modified warrior two. Now we reverse this. So you can start by extending the left leg long, flipping the left palm. Take the tented right fingers, plant them, reach the left arm overhead as you start to pivot, right? I'm gonna start to pivot and turn on the ball mound of my left foot as I sweep this right leg back and up to three-leg dog. From three-leg dog, step forward. Plant the hands out in front of you, lift the left leg, standing split. From standing split up to an extended leg balance. So the left foot can come down first, right? So it could come down, you could come up to stand. You could see about finding that balance. You got to really push down through the right foot to lift, sweep the left leg through, reach the arms up high. Notice if you're leaning back or forward, stand up tall, rotate to the left. And again, it could be that kickstand, it could be the knee bent. Now in one or more steps, we're going to step back to warrior two. So it might be taking small steps back. It might be seeing if you can find that balance. It's almost like you're going to go through a half moon pose to find it. Just that little bit of turning of the hips there. And then from warrior two, straighten the right leg, turn the right foot in, hands to high prayer, fold forward, wide leg forward fold. So last time we talked about the feet and the action of the legs. You can also walk your hands behind you. You can keep them facing forward or turn the fingers away from you. And then it's like you want to draw the floor, like you're pulling from the back of the room in towards you. And that can create a little bit more traction in the spine. It's not about how low you get, doesn't matter. But we're just looking for things that aid in the sensations that we're feeling. Find a halfway lift. Walk yourself back to the front of the mat, frame out the foot, and we'll again go through our vinyasa. So a different example this time would be to come through high plank, and then we'd go through a traditional chaturanga, where we lower from high plank, elbows bent 90 degrees. Back of the neck stays long. Over the toes, my thighs don't touch, upward facing dog. Same thing where I'm pressing down through the tops of the feet, squeezing the shoulder blades together, up and over the toes, downward facing dog. All right, yogis, we're gonna run through that one more time, but we're gonna make it a little bit more fluid this time, a little bit more breath to breath, and add on some other options as well. So we'll start at the top of the mat. Again, if you're working on a side plane like I am, you're switching back to the original front of your mat, right? And then the feet are wide, roll up to stand, hands to high prayer or Kali Mudra. Take a moment to reset. Find your smile. And here we go, low yogic squat. Plant the hands, step the left foot back, lizard pose. Maybe just a little lift through the heart and chest, and then transition side angle pose. Heel toe the right foot in, anchor the left, sweep the left arm overhead. Now we're gonna take this right into our lunge twist. So this left arm can just keep going. Circle down, plant it, come down onto the left knee, circle the right arm up. Nice, now kickstand the left foot, windmill the arms up, modified warrior 2. Reverse your modified warrior, extend the leg, reach. We're turning towards the back of the mat. You've got to pivot. Now the left leg goes back and up for a 3-leg dog. Here you have the option to flip your dog if that's something that you do and it's safe and feels healthy for you. I'm not going to go through how, so just make sure it's something that is safe and your body's in control. There's no kerplunking. And we'll all step the left foot in between the palms, right leg up for standing split. Maybe this time you take a different variation where you stack almost like it would be a 3-leg dog. You could find balance, right? So maybe one hand or both to the ankle, or one hand could come to the stacked foot. And now we come up to stand to extended leg. Sweep the right leg through, reach the arms up, rotate to the right. Step back, warrior 2. Hands to high prayer, wide leg forward fold. On this wide leg forward fold, option 2, if headstand is in your practice, this is a great place to take a headstand. If you're working towards that, maybe you're just visualizing it. Eventually the head's gonna come down to the earth, and then I'm creating a tripod where my hands are the base of the triangle, my head is the top. You would start to come a little bit more on your toes, and then maybe you start to see about lifting, right? Eventually the legs will come all the way up. And we'll all find a halfway lift. Hands behind the back, strong legs. Turn forward. Heel toe this left foot so it's in its own track, the right foot so it's in its own track. Fold to the inside of the right knee for humble warrior. Then find a halfway lift, pivot on the ball mound of the left foot, lift into warrior 3. So any arm variation here. Could be the arms stay behind you, reaching back, out wide, out in front. And then we'll take our flow from here. So another variation of a flow is to take a one leg or three-leg flow, three-leg dog flow. Right leg goes back and up, you come forward. Now as I find my chaturanga, I'm lowering the right leg. Chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing. Last time through, so if you are someone who's switching fronts of the mat, you're gonna do that with me now. From your downward facing dog, you'll walk your feet up. Wide stance. Roll yourself up to stand. Find Kali Mudra or high prayer. And we'll take that moment to ground, to tune back into the intention, and to find our smile. Sink it down, low yogic squat. Plant the hands, step the right foot back, lizard pose. Open up through the heart and chest, then heel toe the left foot in, anchor the right foot, left elbow to quad, circle the right arm around. And remember, we're just gonna keep going. Circle it, land it to the inside of the left foot, pivot on the ball mound of the right foot, drop the right knee, circle the left arm up, lunge twist. Kickstand the right foot, windmill the arms up, modified warrior 2. Reverse your modified warrior. Now you're headed towards the back of the mat, so you've got to pivot on the legs, sweep the right leg back and up, three-leg dog. Option here to flip your dog. You could just go into a side plank, right? That's the beginning of our flip. And then we're gonna all meet by stepping the right foot in between the palms, left leg up, standing split. Other options might be to stack, might be to work on balance. And up to extended leg balance. So we'll sweep the left leg through. As you come up, reach the hands up, then rotate to the left. Warrior 2. Wide leg forward fold. Halfway lift. Clasp the hands behind the back. Turn it towards the front of the mat. Heel toe the feet so they're on their own tracks. Fold forward, humble warrior. Halfway lift. Pivot on the ball mound of the right foot into warrior 3. And our last flow of the practice, if you're choosing to take it, very good, yogis. We are going to meet on our back. So you might just come down, sit onto the heels, fall off onto one side, sweep the legs around, roll down onto your back. Hug both knees into the chest. Then use the hands to press the knees in towards you, but press the knees away from you into the hands. Then hands on top of the knees. Open up the knees like a book. Circle the legs out. Other direction. And then keep the right knee hugged in as you extend the left leg long. Cross this right leg all the way over the body as you open into a spinal twist, arms to a T or cactus arms. Come back through center, bring the right leg with you. This time extend the right leg up into the air. Give yourself a few flex and points. Spread the feet, toes wide. Shake out the leg. Good, and then we'll switch. The right leg goes down, the left knee comes in. Cross the left knee over the body, open the arms. Back through center. Extend the left leg up into the air. Flex and point. Spread the toes wide, wide as you can. Shake out the left leg. Bend the knees. Heels slightly forward of the knees, and we're just going to do a real subtle cat-cow. So we're not actually lifting our bum up. Our bum is staying down. So start by pressing your low back down into the mat. So it's like you're pressing your belly button down towards your spine, pressing the spine into the mat. Then relax, and you see how space arrives. But exaggerate that by pressing through the tail and lifting through the heart and chest. And then you'll come back down, right? Where you're landing the upper back, middle back, lower back, and then releasing the lower back, middle back, upper back. So this is a nice way to get feedback from the ground as you move your spine, seeing if you can articulate. And then legs out long, about mat width distance, feet splayed out to the side, arms 6 inches off the sides of the body, palms face up. This is your final rest, your shavasana, your metaphorical death, a beautiful opportunity that we have each and every day to reset, to renew, to begin again, to be exactly who we want to be. And so when we take this metaphorical death, we get to shed any habits, any tendencies, any patterns that the awareness of our practice gives to us. And from that awareness, we begin that shedding so that our Purusha, our infinite light of the divine that resides within, that is within me, that is in with you, that is within all of humanity, gets to come forth, gets to emerge. And we simply get to do that by tuning into our breath, by tuning into our bodies, and by gifting ourselves the time and space and priority to just be. Stay here for as long as you have the time and space in your day. It will enhance every moment of the rest of your day. It is always worth it to take space for that integration and absorption. I am so grateful and honored to be here yogaing with you. It is my privilege, and I do not take that for granted. So thank you for watching, for yogaing. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, and yoga with me even more. My heart sees and feels and smiles to yours. Namaste, yogis.